Oh, is it turned cold yet? It's cold outside? Okay. I guess kind of same song, second verse, or third or fourth or fifth or however many games we've played. Pretty much what we talked about at halftime was opening the first 4-minute war, as we call them, and trying to compete and guard and do what we had just done. And we were really good the first half, and that was fun to watch. And I was a little frustrated even at half with our rebounding, but because we had one, I think, from each LaRon and Michael, and we knew they were a good rebounding team. But again, we've got to figure out. I've got to figure out. I've got to do a better job. I don't know what I've got to do at halftime, but we've gone from the start of the game now to the halftime, and coming out the second half, and our last two, we gave up 63 in 63. That's right, 63 points in the second half and overtime. 63. And then it was 50-something at Michigan. And I wrote on the board after the game, defense wins championships, offense wins games. And until we can guard, until we can quit committing silly fouls, 94 feet from the basket, quit committing silly fouls by reaching, we got to learn. And those are things that we've got to continue to grow. They won't out-stubborn me. I'll win the battle. But we got to get better. We got to play smarter.
Questions for the players?
Aaron, just what do you see as the biggest difference in just the first halves or just halves for your team? What's wrong with the consistency?
Well, first off, I say our energy. I don't know what it is, but as players, we got to be hyped just from the start of the game, halftime, any part of the game. It's our energy, period. And, that's on us. Coach is going to take the blame for us, but that's on us as players.
Trent, what have
and give you guys one more chance. What needed to happen in overtime, and what do you feel maybe went wrong there?
Honestly, it should never got to that point, man. We should have won by 20 easily. We played a hell of a great first half. Defensively, they couldn't run anything. We should have put it together. But that shot, the coach was just telling me get it on the rim, just get a good look, and it went in.
You had a defensive breakdown in the first half where your man kind of got a clean look to the hoop, sort of indicative of all the defensive problems that the team has had. Do you remember that play? Can you talk about what went wrong?
I don't remember that exact play, but defense is something everybody has to work on. That's what we're going to continue to work on and get better at.
Brad? Trent, obviously, kind of stepping up again. Talk about your, kind of how you've emerged as kind of a leader out on the floor a little bit. I know it's tough in the loss, but, you kind of, took charge down the stretch to get the team back in the game.
Just stepping up. We had a few guys out, especially in foul trouble. Our big-time players in foul trouble, fouled out. But also some guys are sick, so coaching staff told me I had to step up tonight, play a lot of minutes, and I had to do what I had to do. I made the right plays down the stretch, and then did what I had to do to get us back in the game.
Anything else for the players? Thank you, guys. Questions for Coach?
Brad, can you talk about what it meant to the team to have to play so many minutes without Mark Allstork on defense tonight?
A lot. Mark's, since the Missouri game, since we put Mark on the ball defensively, he has dominated games. He dominated the first half. I mean, he had Bohannon just going from one side of the court to the other side to the other. One thing we've been emphasizing a tremendous amount in practice is just simply wing denials, getting our wings to deny somebody. It's been really frustrating for Mark to work as hard as he works and then give up a catch. Our best post defense, okay, I mean, we're being realistic. We don't have a lot of size. Okay, so our best post defense has to be our perimeter defense. And if you force them to catch the ball a little further out, it gives us a chance. You know, we were allowing too many easy catches. Mark has been fabulous. What Mark hasn't been very good at and has to get better at is to control his emotions. And he thinks that he's going to take somebody's basketball. You're not going to take high major kids' basketball. And he commits 2 fouls tonight doing that. And we are on him every single day about that. And he's got to learn to control the emotion of that and understand. I mean, he's been a huge impact for us since we've made that move. And it was the first half at Michigan. But, yeah, when he's not in the game, our defense suffers. And that's something that, again, we've got to go grow from.
Brad, I think it's pretty telling when Ebo out-minutes Michael Finke at this point of the season. Just where's Michael at, and what's that leave you with right now in the post?
I wish I had the answer for that. One, Greg's got a lot better. I mean, we all know that early in the year we couldn't put Greg in for 4 minutes or he would have fouled out. He's becoming more confident. His athleticism. I'm not giving up on Michael at all. You know, Michael's got to rebound the basketball. I think in Big 12 play, Michael hasn't made a 3, yet he's potentially can be one of our best shooters. I think that's right. So you may check those stats. But it's you know, he's 6'10", and I'll be honest, we need him to play better. He's a veteran. He's done it before. He's had double-digit rebound games in this league. And, you know, he's a guy that we're trying to run offense to, and we're trying to run offense through. And, you know, I've got high expectations for him, and he'll work his way out of it, and we'll keep working with him. And yet I couldn't be more pleased with what Greg's doing. Greg's got a rebound. Made a huge mistake tonight. Huge mistake. Free throw blockout. My biggest pet peeve in basketball, free throw blockout. And, of course, that cost us. And we work on those once a week and talk about them all the time. And one of my coaches was screaming to get him out because his hands went to his knees because he was tired, and he got whooped. Big play. Learning something he's got to learn.
Do you remember the AJ play that I asked him about?
I don't. I'll have to go back and look. There's again, we have to learn to trust defensively, Rob, and that's if a guy's going to cut back door, we should have somebody there. No one's ever beat our team with backdoor cuts ever, and you know, we made some nice plays and forced some turnovers, and yet. You know, there were a few that were part of it, but I don't remember the specific play.
Do you feel like you guys are just having too much confidence heading into the second half, and that's what's causing you guys to be somewhat complacent?
Gosh, I would hope not. I hope we don't have. I mean, it's. I'm used to teams that want to have a killer instinct, knowing that they're up. I mean, just think of the last 2 teams: Michigan at Michigan, and we had a 8-10 point lead there. We had a 20-point lead tonight. And I it's what I don't understand. I want those guys that want that angry, that's not good enough, killer instinct. And be very honest, that's all we talked about at halftime. I mean, there weren't a whole lot of adjustments that we had to make. And yet they didn't do anything different. But it was catch, drive. And if you let Tyler Cook catch a basketball, he's a problem. He's a really good player, and he's a problem for us. He showed 21 and 13. And it was the same thing. It was the same thing at Michigan. Same thing at Michigan. Duncan Robinson catch, Mo Wagner layup, and we didn't do that the first half.
Brad, you've had to change some cultures before. Is this one different? I mean, it sounds like
not even close. Yeah. Not this one's more challenging. Simply, it's I guess I was fortunate. Last year at OSU, I mean, the guy that I coached is starting for the Clippers, and then I had a senior that had been a 15-point a game scorer in Phil Forte, and none of them. Juwan wasn't a great leader yet, but he was. But the one thing that you counted on was when the lights came on. Oh yeah, you got that every night. And they were able to drag other guys with him. And then Phil could be demanding, and demanded it of his teammates. And not all the time, but we don't have that right now, and we don't have guys holding each other accountable. And at SFA, that was never the problem. We had a whole team of guys that held each other accountable, and that's the biggest difference. And you've got to win off the court to win on the court. You've got to, I tell our team every single day in conference play, I don't care what conference it is, winning is hard. No one is going to give you anything. You have to go earn it. And tonight's a great example. And you can't play 20 minutes and win. And the teams are too good, and the players are too talented at this level. Everybody's got pros, and if you don't do that, nights like tonight happen.
Right. Again, you kind of shocked the other team with your pressure to start the game. Does your pressure back off, or is it the fouling, or is it just
well? Yes, I mean that's pretty obvious. Not with any intent, right. Not with, but it's. We're doggone good at times. I mean what we did at Michigan and what we did tonight in the first half, that's a heck of an offensive basketball team. I don't know, we forced Michigan into 14 turnovers at half, and tonight what was it at half? 14, 11. I mean, that's a team tonight that has all ball handlers in their lineup. All ball handlers. And we just got them doing stuff that they don't practice every day. That 5-out motion they run, they put that in for us. That's not something that they do. And, we can cover all their sets. They don't run what they practice. I wish I had the answer why the second half, because it's not the intent. And can't figure it out. Got to figure it out. That's on me. I got to figure it out.
Scott, you mentioned yesterday that you have a locker room of guys that want to win but maybe don't expect it. I mean, I guess, what did you see at halftime from it? I mean, was it leaning in the right direction, or
if I get into the business of trying to read teams in pregame warmups and read teams, that's why I don't go out before pregame, because I think that shows what we're striving for, and that's leadership. And it's a lack of. I think it's something that, and maybe it's me. Maybe I got to do a better job. I got to go in and punch trash cans. I don't know. But it can't be that. It can't be that. It can't be me leading. There's got to be some inner want to go out. I'm used to teams that, literally, to be very honest, I'm used to teams that from a competitive standpoint, that wasn't good enough at half. The way we ended that half would have ticked them off. And we would have gone for the jugular. And that's my personality. I've done a bad job of instilling that in them yet.
Derek.
With the way Trent's playing right now, do you feel like he has a capacity to lead?
Yeah. Yeah, Trent's just learning. I mean, Trent played a lot off the ball, in high school. I mean, he was just a bucket getter. He's trying to learn how to position guys and play and think and guard and and all those things. He's learning on the fly. But I said this all the time. I knew Trent would have big games this year, just because of his talent, his swagger, his moxie. He's got natural instincts. And the thing I love about Trent, man, he's no fear. He doesn't fear. He wants to take that shot because he doesn't fear missing it. We got guys afraid to get a rebound or afraid to make a pass because they fear failure. Trent doesn't do that. Trent's a baller. He's a hooper, and you can tell, from his swagger, and I love that about him.
Right here on the side.
What does it take to instill that killer instinct? Is it just leadership, or is it just experience overall and just gaining that?
I think there's a lot of factors. That's one. We're going to keep trying to figure that out. It's at some point, and I said this early on, losing's unacceptable. And at some point, you got to get tired of losing. Because if you're accepting losing, oh my, that's not good. So, I know one thing: we got a coaching staff that doesn't like losing very much, and I know you got a coaching staff that's going to go home and break down the film tonight. We're going to show up tomorrow, and we're going to work on getting things better. And losing's never acceptable. Winning's hard, but losing's never acceptable at anything.
Derek. Coach, how disappointing was it to have one of your team leaders in Tijon unavailable to play tonight?
Very, very. You try to trust, but never at the expense of the program. And there's standards and there's expectations that I hold for this program that are much greater than any individual. And this program is an elite program, and will be again, but not at the expense of any one player. And yeah, it's lesson learned, I hope.
Brad, is this just a one-game thing for Tijon or any longer?
We'll see.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you.
Travel safe, folks.